Hello and welcome back to the latest episode of the La Project with me, your host Han Royani, and with me today,
BJ, what's up?
What's up, guys? So we just came off of a short break. We took a 1 week break last week. So there are a lot of things that we are about to cover today. But before we start, how are you feeling, by the way, BJ?
Could be better.
Could be
Not 100%.
better?
Yeah, I think I got COVID again. Like it was bad this time.
Wow.
Loss of taste buds, loss of fever.
Wow.
I had fever for 3 days.
Wow.
It sucks.
COVID in 2025.
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
Yeah, I did. Well, that's what happens when on it in 2020.
This is karma.
This is karma. You telling people it's not real. It's like, go out of your house. The MCO, that's what I was doing in 2020.
And that's what you get.
And that's what I get now, yeah.
In 2025, you get COVID.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. While my co-host was in Maldives, believe it or not.
I don't know if
I
you can
got COVID.
see. Yes, I'm pretty tan right now, but I just came straight from Maldives just a few days ago.
Yeah.
So
How was that though?
Oh, it was amazing.
Did you find Nemo?
Yeah. I found Nemo. I found Dory and everything. I found the stone turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was amazing because Maldives is like a compilation of beautiful
Archipelago,
islands. Yeah. So it's the water is full of corals. So it's crystal clear. It's blue. You can just go snorkel anywhere in Maldives and you can just see corals and fishes everywhere. So that was nice. But I do feel that it's something that we provide here in Malaysia too.
Right.
If you go to the Redang Islands,
Correct.
Langkawi, all these islands, you can pretty much see the same things.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that's one thing that people, especially local Malaysians, we tend to overlook because whenever we want to travel or we think Philippines or we think Thailand or Maldives, but really just
Sampurna, I think is
Sampurna
is really
too.
beautiful as well.
Yeah. So in Sabah also they have a few Matanani Island, I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
correct.
so that
Manukan,
is beautiful too. So for locals, especially if you are trying to save up and stuff, and you want to explore the same things that you can find overseas, you can just head over to our own beaches and archipelagos. The islands that we have. It's just as beautiful. I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So all right. So now we're gonna get into the news.
Regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah, regularly scheduled programming. So over the last week, we couldn't really talk about this since we were, on a short break.
Yep.
But in
Again, a hell of a week to take a break.
hell of a week. There's so many things that happened because our neighbors in Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things have happened. Especially over the last week or the last 2 weeks when we weren't recording an episode. So basically in Indonesia, if you guys watch the news, you might have seen there have been massive protests and riots all over the streets of Jakarta. But it basically happened, so how it started was basically the Indonesian government, they declared a monthly housing allowance of over $3,000 US.
Yeah, per person.
Per person.
Yeah.
Per month. And
For the parliamentary members.
for the
right?
parliamentary members.
Yep.
So compared to some of the lower income communities in Indonesia, that is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So for the hundreds of millions of thousands
I
of
think it's a lot of
Indonesians-
money for anyone.
For anyone, you know what I mean?
If you were to convert that to Malaysian ringgit,
Mm-hmm.
3,000 USD is
That's right.
around the ballpark 13,000-14,000 ringgit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot of
At
money.
least more than 12,000 ringgit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can
That's a lot of money.
that amount of money, you can use it to raise a family and stuff per month.
Per month?
Per month.
Are you fucking give me 15,000 ringgit a month? You don't even have to work
Yeah, you don't have to
in
work.
Malaysia, man.
Yeah.
You don't even have to work and you live a luxury lifestyle. You can eat out every night.
Mhm. Exactly.
It's that kind of money. Yeah.
Because especially in Indonesia and Malaysia where the cost of living is not that high.
Yeah,
Something.
It's a housing allowance in Indonesia. Okay,
3,000.
granted it's Jakarta, fine.
Yeah.
It's the most urban area in Indonesia, fine.
Yeah.
Real estate costs are the highest in Indonesia. Fine.
Yeah.
But 15,000 ringgit?
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God, man. Like
excessive.
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 That's way excessive.
So after the Indonesia government, they declared the news. They were.
What was their reasoning? Does anyone know about that? Like what
Why
made
they-
the MPs, these members of parliament in Indonesia, feel like they could just pass a bill like this without?
Okay, so
Repercussion.
there are two things, I think.
Okay.
So the first one is they had enough budget for the parliament, for their cabinet members. That's one. Number two, they didn't really care, or maybe they are not as aware how much they would be earning as compared to some of the more sedentary Indonesian household. You know what I mean? So they don't really take that into consideration. They were just thinking about themselves. So they're like,
Of course they were, yeah.
So like they didn't think about the repercussions that could happen, like what the Indonesians would think of if they passed that law.
No, okay. The reason why I'm asking, right? Why I asked that question specifically is because did you see the videos of the MPs that were dancing,
Yeah.
men and women,
Yeah.
MPs that
Yeah.
were dancing in Parliament
I saw.
when the protests were going on
Yeah.
outside? Like, okay, tone deaf is tone deaf. You know, tone deaf is one thing, but this is just like you're almost declaring war on your own people. You know what I mean? I'm not a liberal populist by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But when you have to understand reality of your situation, and in Indonesia, the reality of the situation is that poverty is something that is widespread.
Yeah, it's quite prevalent in
Yes,
Indonesia.
and the wealth gap is huge.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Brazil levels huge.
Yeah.
You know, in Indonesia. Not the same situation exactly that we have in Malaysia. You
Yeah.
know, like the wealth gap is much smaller here.
Yeah, it's
I
not
feel
as
like
big as
at least
compared
compared to
to-
Indonesia,
yeah,
right?
yep.
And like I said, Indonesia's wealth gap is on the level of countries like Brazil, where it's so like the elites are so rich and the poor are so poor, and most of the time they're living right next to each other.
Yeah.
So how do you, especially if you are people in parliament, the people's representative,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If you outwardly in public portray yourself like that against the protests of the people that are going on, and it's not like it's 100, 200, 300, 500 people protesting. You know, these are like widespread protests.
Tens of thousands,
Yes,
hundreds
yeah.
of thousands of people.
Probably even millions.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
know, man.
Indonesia is
yeah.
massive.
It's
Yeah.
massive. Why would you do that? Like, are you declaring war on your own people?
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want. I'm not trying to sound naive. I'm not trying to sound like I'm just trying to understand a situation that should be understood. I'm trying to really make sense of why would you, in a position of power, I mean, you guys are not even in the cabinet, you know. These people are just lowly MPs.
Right.
You know, they just members of parliament. They don't sit at the top making policies and all that,
Yeah.
making money off of it. Like, yeah, maybe they get like an extra 5,000-6,000 ringgit worth every month to put in their pockets. Fine. That's a bit more extra money,
Yeah.
but it's not something you get rich over.
Exactly.
You know, it's something you become
And
millionaire
this is
over.
something that.
So why would you do this?
Yeah.
Why would you do this? I don't understand that. I don't. Because number one, it seeks to destabilize your own country, and you're doing it from within yourself. You get it?
Yeah.
It is so counterintuitive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, the fact that Indonesia is such a big country, there's like more than 250 million people
Yeah.
in Indonesia. You know, earlier you mentioned about the fact of them being tone deaf. I think that's exactly what it is, because when the protests were happening in Indonesia, there was a politician by the name of Ahmad Saroni. I'm not sure if you know about him, but he famously in Indonesia, he made a speech during the whole protests. He was just saying that the protesters are some of the stupidest people in the world.
Right.
That's what he said to the Indonesian public.
Damn.
And you can probably already imagine what was going to happen because there were already protests. So the people of Jakarta, the people of Indonesia, they raided his house, basically. They just stormed inside his house.
Damn.
They took all
Looted
his...
him,
Yeah, they looted him, basically. There was a Richard Mille
watch.
A Richard Mille watch worth $2 million. And then there was a life-size Iron Man suit that they took.
Damn.
Jewelries, everything. Like they took all the vase, all the furnitures and everything. The people of Indonesia took just because he said the fact that some of these protesters are the stupidest people in the world. That's like a clear example of being tone deaf.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because these people, they just care about themselves. They don't care about the people that they are supposed to represent. And most of these people, with the allowance that they get, the money comes from the Indonesian people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so like you said, I don't understand why they would be... It's like declaring war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I don't... To be honest with you, why I said the tone deaf thing, because to me, if you were to attribute the actions of these politicians to being tone deaf, to me, that's a cop-out. It's an excuse. Because you live around these people. It's not like in Jakarta, you live in a walled kingdom where you don't see what's going on outside, you don't know what's going on outside, all you know is your cushy life. If that is the reality of your situation, fine, call it tone deaf if you want, you know?
Yeah.
Fine. But you don't live that way. How you live is the slums and the elites are right next to each other. You've been to Jakarta, right? Yeah, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Bandung is the same.
Yeah.
You know, so please, I mean, I get how it can seem as tone deaf, but we're in 2025, dude. And this kind of thing, this kind of populist movements have been happening since the Arab Spring. You know? And people can say whatever they want about the Arab Spring, like how it was maybe CIA involved, this and that. But at the end of the day, those were populist movements. People were not having it anymore with the elites.
Yeah.
And the same goes for whatever it is now. The same. This was the straw that broke the camel's back in Indonesia.
Exactly.
You know? And they got to wake up.
So there were actually two straws that broke.
Okay.
So the first one was the whole monthly housing allowance.
Okay.
And then the second one was that
The
during
Gojek
the
rider?
protest, the Gojek rider. So an armored police vehicle sort of hit him and ran him over, and
he died, right?
He died from the accident, basically. So right after that, the protests got even bigger, got even wilder. Apparently, up until now, the costs of damage that have been inflicted in Jakarta is over $50 million.
That's not bad.
That's
Considering.
Yeah, I mean, because Jakarta is massive, right? So $50 million.
I guess the cost of materials in Jakarta are pretty low.
Yeah, but they burned some cars, couses, bus
How
stations.
cheap are cars in Jakarta, dude?
I know. But it's still a lot of money, $50 million. $50 million. Yeah. So right now I would say Indonesia is going through a bit of a movement.
In all seriousness, they better wake up.
Yeah, they're going through a movement right now.
Their government, their administration, they better wake up.
Yeah, and okay, so this is a bit unrelated, but I'm not sure if you know about this festival in Indonesia going on right now. I mean, it just happened a few days ago, called Pesta Pora. Okay, so basically in Pesta Pora, it's a massive festival, 3-day festival. They invited some of the biggest names in Indonesia. Even Datuk Siti Nurhaliza was performing there. So after the first day, people found out that one of the sponsors of Pesta Pora was PT. It's like a port company, basically, that is sort of taking advantage of the people in Papua in Indonesia. So what happened to Papua? Basically, a lot of companies started investing in Papua. They created gold mines, a few types of mines, basically to harvest the natural resources of Papua, which after like a few months or a year or so of drilling and everything, Papua completely changed in terms of the landscape and like the geography, because like it's nowhere near as pretty as it once was.
Right.
And then also the fact that
Due to the mining.
And the cost of living is getting higher and higher. So the people of Papua can no longer keep up to afford even living on Papua. So because of that, a lot of the artists that were supposed to perform in Pesta Pora like pulled out.
Okay.
So around 20 performers pulled out. Eventually, Pesta Pora, they had to cut ties with that company. But the damage has been done. You know what I mean? So
And the company is still operating.
the company is still operating. It's just that they are no longer sponsoring Pesta Pora. Some of the artists pulled out. Some of the artists took the time to pretty much educate the people that came, about what's happening in Papua. But, like I said, Indonesia is going through a massive change right now. So I think it's something that Malaysia can definitely look and learn from, because they're just like our neighbors, basically.
Yeah, true. Well, on that note, I would like to say something good about our
neighbors.
About us.
About
actually.
us.
About Malaysians.
Okay. I mean, it is Malaysia month, right?
Yeah.
So we have to say something nice about.
No. Honestly, like we don't face this kind of thing, Like for all of the things that,
for all of our problems and everything.
Yeah, we don't really have real political instability, like how Thailand does, like how Indonesia does, like we don't face that kind of thing. And I think in the spirit of Malaysia Day, I think it's something that we should truly be thankful for.
Yeah, exactly. Because compared to
like we have it good, especially when it compares to some of our other neighbours. Even when it compares to Singapore, do you hear the that's going on in Singapore right now?
What?
Like over the last few years, like the propaganda thing that's been happening.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard about this? Like how they are erasing literally Singaporean history and replacing it with like some Sino-Asian version of the narrative.
Oh, I'm not familiar, but I'm not surprised about this.
The New Straits Times, the Straits Times in Singapore came out with an article that claimed that nasi lemak was from China.
Okay.
That was brought to Singapore.
Let me come down.
Is that?
Nasi lemak is from China?
Yeah.
What the okay.
Singaporean cuisine is mostly from China, they said. Our chicken rice all.
We should sue whoever said this for defamation.
Dude, we can pull it up. It is in the Straits Times of Singapore.
That's crazy.
It's ridiculous. And not only that, they've been slowly they've been doing it in a way where they've slowly been like erasing the real story of Singapore. Like how, Sang Nila Utama, the founder of Temasek, before it was Singapore and all that. All these things, like all these have been slowly, like the Singaporeans have been trying to change the narrative as to how these things came to be. They're not erasing the nasi lemak. They are erasing the fact that the nasi lemak, where it actually came from. Where did this come from? This dish come from? That dish came from.
So they're trying to change the history of
the provenance. Yeah.
So they're trying to do the whole Israeli thing with the.
They are.
Exactly.
It's the same playbook. It's the same playbook.
Yeah.
It's the same playbook. Less nefarious in the sense that maybe right now they're not thinking about ethnic cleansing But it's a slippery slope.
It's
once the ball keeps rolling down the hill, it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
People get rolled over.
Some people might believe that, and that's gonna be a problem.
Dude, there's good. What you mean some?
There are already a lot of people.
What do you think? What do you think is going to happen when? Okay, fine. Our generation won't believe this, right? What about my kids? What about my kids? Who are 30 years younger than me? Okay, who are going to grow up in a different world.
They didn't learn the same history that we learned.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
And who's going to tell them? They're on their phones when they're in their teens, right? When they're 15, 16. Who's going to tell them like what you're reading is wrong?
Yeah, everything will be filtered by
exactly.
AI. Yeah, so it's
and
the
worrying thing is the Straits Times.
It's like a prominent news outlet.
It's the news outlet in Singapore.
Yeah.
And you're coming up with this.
That's
like
insane.
Sorry, that was my rant about Singapore. I've never said anything about you guys, but this is Malaysia, man. I ain't having it today.
Yeah. So we were just talking, about Indonesia and stuff. So a similar thing is also going on in another Asian country. So just a few days ago, I think either yesterday or 2 days by the time of this recording, in Nepal, there have been massive protests and riot in the country. So much so that the government actually implemented a social media crackdown, a social media ban for a few days.
Wow.
Yeah, so people were not allowed to use social media while there were protests going on, which is the same thing that happened in Indonesia too, because there were some parts of Indonesia where they were restricting the social media accounts, so people were not able to share what's going on in real time.
What were the protests
So the protests
in Nepal?
It's basically about like decades of corruption in Nepal.
Right.
But
surprise.
Yeah, but basically it got worse over the last few days, and then that was when the Nepalese government, they decided to do a ban on social media because the protests were pretty much led by Gen Zs. Yeah. They Gen Zs, they were leading the protests, and because of that the government banned the social media, at least for a few days. But now it's back, so people were able to pretty much tell what has been going on. So it's something that you can see actually quite common in a lot of countries, because the governments are sort of trying to limit the what do you call it, the data that is coming out of these places. For example, in Indonesia, in Nepal, and I'm sure like in Israel too, because in Israel there are a lot of people that are against the current government, Netanyahu's government. But they don't show that on social media. They don't share that in the news, so it's something that is scary to think about, because I think maybe Malaysia has also done something like this in the past. Maybe not about the social media ban, but about overwriting the history books. So I'm sure like the things that we learned in history books are not the full 100% history. You know what I mean? And I'm sure you have something to say about that.
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay, wow. That's a first.
Not today, at least.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, since it's Malaysia month.
It's Malaysia month.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I'm feeling very patriotic today.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we just covered about Nepal and Indonesia. So in China, actually, over the last week, if you watch the news, you might have seen it. But basically, China had a massive military parade. So during the military, as they do. During the military parade, Xi Jinping, he invited so many leaders from around the world. Some would say dictators or tyrants. But some of the people that were there included the names of Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, he was there.
Kim Jong-un,
Narendra Modi.
Even the Indonesian president was there. The Indonesian Prime Minister Prabowo, he was there. Anwar Ibrahim was there. And probably
he had a little side conversation with Kim Jong-un.
He posted it on his social media. I'm like, wow, okay. But a lot of countries are they sent their leaders to China for the military parade, and I think a big name that was not there that people might have been wondering about would be the US. So I'm sure a lot of people noticed, but Donald Trump wasn't there. But all the other, pretty much the rest of the superpowers of the world were there. So people have been speculating online that, you
Why?
know, I mean, like even Trump himself, he mentioned the fact that, you know, Xi Jinping is colluding with Russia against the US and so on and so.
It's called BRICS.
That's
is
true.
Is that news to you?
Okay. So this is what I want to talk about, because we've
which Malaysia last week was just endorsed to be a full member of BRICS.
That's right. Right. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about, like, because we've had like 40 something episodes. Of
This
the
I
Love
think this is
Project.
41.
41. So we've talked a lot about Trump. Like almost every other episode we talk about Trump.
Correct.
How do you think he feels after he watched all these leaders of these countries? You know, they are having a meeting without him. You know, because for us, okay, maybe I'm generalizing a little bit, but for the rest of the world, after having to go through you know, talks with Donald Trump and the tariffs that he is putting on countries, some would consider that the US is sort of like bullying these other countries, because like they are so powerful.
Okay.
So when they put tariffs on other countries, some of the other countries, they would have to obey. They would have to follow through.
Yeah.
So, you know, some would consider this like taking advantage of some of these other countries. So
Okay.
whenever you would have this big meeting of world leaders without Trump, some would consider, okay, maybe they are planning something without the United States. Maybe the United States is a declining empire, some would say.
Okay.
Maybe Trump is feeling FOMO because of the whole thing. He just wants to
Okay.
join. So what do you think? What do you think Trump is feeling right now?
Whoa. When it comes to this, I don't know, man. Like, you could be right. There could be some of that because of how narcissistic he himself is as a personality, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, of course he might feel that. He might have that FOMO, but I don't know, man. He's also an alpha, so like alphas don't feel FOMO, you know. Like if that's happening without me, fine. But I had my own thing, you know. That 150th of the army, and then next year is going to be like, next year is what, 250 of the United States.
Yeah.
You know, so that's gonna be big, which by all accounts he's planning to have a similar, if not bigger, military parade.
Oh yeah. Okay, about that. So he recently just changed the name of the the Ministry of Defense to the Ministry of War. Yes, that shows how narcissistic this guy is.
Not really, because back in the 19
Oh yeah. Before this, it was also called the
Secretary of War.
Secretary of War.
So it's not something that is.
They changed
It's
it
not
after,
a Trumpian thing. No.
Yeah, they
It's
changed
just
it
that
after World War II.
because the idea of World War II was the Cold War, right? So there was not supposed to be any hot war. So if you had a Ministry of War,
Yeah, it's
or
like
Department of War, it's wrong. But even the UK had a Ministry of War during World War II.
okay, but we don't have
actually,
any hot wars right now.
What do you mean?
Okay.
What do you mean?
Okay, we do.
Yeah.
But did he have to make it so obvious? Like,
It was
why
always
did
going to
he-
be.
why did
It
he
was
wanna
always
make
going to
it
be obvious.
Ministry of
If it
War?
was ever done, if it was ever going to be done, it was always going to be obvious. Because you change something from defense to war.
Exactly.
It's something that's significant, of course.
Yeah.
But whether it's novel, it's not novel because it's been done before. Like, I mean, and I guess if you ask me, I think what is most likely about that situation is that he saw this whole thing happening in China, And he's like posturing. He's like, war.
Yeah, I mean,
You know? It's stupid, but it's Trump. So like,
it's stupid, but it's Trump.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
that
Trump.
should
So
be
what?
the slogan
Yeah.
for Trump.
It's stupid, but it's Trump. Yeah. And somehow he's gonna make it work.
Okay, I would argue against that, but okay, you know what? I think he's trying his best. But his best compared to some other people's best are, different.
Like, okay, like how? Like what do you mean? Like how? Okay, if like we had a debate about about people nominating him to
Yeah,
be the
yeah,
Nobel Peace Prize, right?
Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, but who's gonna win it instead of him?
Honestly,
Alternatively, think about it.
no, the people that really deserve to win the Nobel Peace Prize will never win it.
Like
That's
who?
what I feel.
Greta Thunberg.
She could be. I think she has a better shot than Trump. Yeah? And she's just a girl from Norway? And she can she has enough voice and enough credibility, I would say.
I don't know. I think you're overstating your own Instagram feed. I think
No,
I think that's
don't-
what's going on.
I don't
think that's
watch
what's going on.
Instagram anymore.
Or
that
TikTok
much.
feed or whatever you call it. But
No, because okay. Other than Trump, who else do you think should get the Nobel Peace Prize? Because
it's not that I don't think anyone else is deserving. I don't know if anyone else is deserving. There's no one that has the profile right now. At least Trump, okay, you can point to him having all these like domestic issues and whatever is going on, but in terms of foreign policy, he's actually done quite well.
he's doing quite
Because
well now.
you look at the Iran thing, right?
Okay.
You look at the Iran thing, right? Everybody was telling him, at home, abroad, don't attack Iran. Don't attack Iran. Don't attack Iran.
Yeah.
He said, if you attack Iran, it's going to be World War III and all that. What did he do? He was like, everybody shut up. I know what I'm doing. He attacked Iran. Demolished their nuclear facilities. Never sent another bomb after that. Went back home. Kept quiet. America didn't get involved anymore.
No,
That
it's
case.
because he had to do that because Iran was in the midst of preparing a war against Israel, and that
Maybe, whatever the case may be, okay? That one is justification from one side or the other.
Okay.
That does not
changed the fact that he did what he did.
did what he did. Yeah. Okay. And then right after that, he had the whole Cambodia, Thailand thing. That came off well for him as well.
Yeah.
And then with all the tariff reductions that have been happening, fine, yeah, he put the tariffs there in the first place, but it's not easy to go back on yourself either. When
especially as someone as narcissistic as Donald Trump.
Yeah. So see, a lot of liberals, like to point to narcissism as a bad thing. I don't. It cannot be. If it's a bad thing,
Okay.
if it's a bad thing, then we don't have the most powerful, the most alpha personalities in the world. Because the part of being an alpha, one big part of being an alpha is the narcissism. You need to believe in yourself way more than anyone else can believe in you.
Yes, but there's a point of delusion too. Like you can believe in
The point
yourself.
of delusion,
for sure.
delusion only happens when you believe in something that you cannot achieve.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Okay, that is delusion. And that's where if Trump didn't win the presidency and he still behaved like how he did, you could call that delusion. But he did.
Okay, you can call 6th January a delusional moment for Trump.
Why is that?
Because he was claiming that what did he call? That he won the election. He was claiming that he won the election when in fact he lost the election. So he was telling his people, his followers that, we shouldn't take this standing down, we should fight for our rights, which eventually what happened on 6th of January when people stormed the Capitol and pretty much broke the law. Because he was being delusional in the fact that, okay, I'm not going to accept this result because they're all conspiring against me. This is all fake news.
Okay. When it comes to January 6th, like I've said before, like it's a thing that has already been litigated, and I don't believe in really litigating it on my own.
Okay.
Because like I said, I'm not an expert on the law, and insurrection, it means something.
Yeah.
There's a legal definition to it, and many independent legal scholars have already said that what happened on January 6th did not amount to an insurrection.
Okay.
Because they were never ever in like the 2,000 people that were eventually rounded up and caught and thrown in jail and all that. They were never even close, anywhere even close to taking over the government.
Yeah.
You know? So
You can argue they're all delusional.
Yeah. Fine. You can argue they're all delusional, but that was not my point about delusion. Like what you were saying was that delusion is a byproduct of narcissism, right?
Yeah.
Which I agree with. It is.
Yeah.
However, only if that belief is not achievable. For someone like Donald Trump, whatever he has believed in was achievable. Like he believed he could go.
Yeah.
He believed he could attack Iran without putting boots on the ground.
Okay.
He did.
Yeah.
He believed he could end. Okay. He was wrong about the whole Israel-Palestine thing, right?
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
was wrong about the whole Ukraine and
Russia
thing. But the Ukraine and Russia thing is a lot more complex because you have an adversary in Putin that is so much more well equipped, who is his own version of narcissist as well.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
Yeah. So I mean, you need that. You need that at the top to fight fire with fire, dude. Like you can't have a timid.
You need someone with an iron fist.
You can't have a type B personality trying to rival a type A personality. It just doesn't work. You know, like you can't have like a Caitlyn Jenner going up against a Bruce Jenner. You understand what I mean? You understand what I mean?
You cannot have a Caitlyn Jenner versus a Bruce Jenner.
Yeah, you can't. Of course,
Okay.
like
Who would win?
Come on, Bruce would win, man. But I don't know, man. Caitlyn's got some. She killed a man, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
allegedly, you know what I mean?
Driving a car.
Yeah.
But you know, like in all seriousness, it is what it is. Like to me, narcissism is never a bad thing if you're looking at the top of the top. Like you need it, though. You need it.
Yeah.
If not, you're not looking out. At, like it's not without its drawbacks. You know, like that's how it leads to like Saddam Hussein.
Oh yeah.
You know,
For sure.
It leads to that type of characters who are real tyrants. You know, people who are really evil. I'm not convinced. Like most of the world, unlike most of the world, I am not convinced Putin is that.
You don't think Putin is that narcissistic?
No, I don't think Putin is a tyrant.
Okay.
I don't think Putin is a tyrant. He's
Okay.
narcissistic for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, he's an ex-KGB agent. He keeps everything secret. He pulls wealth for himself.
He's been the president for how long now? 20 years?
On and off, I think something over like 30, 35 years, something like
Wow.
that. On and off.
Yeah.
You know, like I think he said 2 stints where he stepped down as president and went to become prime minister. And then Sarkozy became Medvedev became president for a while, and then they switched back. Like that, you know, that's happened I think twice over the last 30 years. But yes, Putin has always been in power. So, but is he a tyrant? I don't think so. Like Russia's economy is thriving. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Like Russia's economy now is the best it's ever been.
Really?
Yeah.
Even after all the sanctions that
Yes.
they put
You know why?
against Russia? Yeah,
BRICS.
why? Oh, okay. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
They have the most thriving economy right now. Like even if anyone were to go to Moscow, right, and see, they still have all of the things that were sanctioned, like all the Cokes and Sprites and all that. It's just labeled something else.
You know, I think BRICS is one of the counters to
It's trying to be.
America.
It's trying to be.
Yeah.
Not necessarily America, but
because I mean
the dominance of American dollar.
That's
I
right.
think
That's
what it is.
right.
Yeah.
And you know, like Malaysia is also about to be recognized in BRICS soon, so we'll probably you know, have some benefits from being in BRICS. You know, because BRICS is part of the countries
I'm not too
that
sure
are in
about that,
BRICS is like Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa.
I'm not too sure about that, dude. I think it would serve us best to be Switzerland. Honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Because
Neutral. We should be a
Switzerland.
neutral country completely. We shouldn't be part of BRICS. We shouldn't be a part of NATO, whatever lah. Any of the like it's good enough that we are part of ASEAN, that we are spearhead in our region.
Yeah.
I think that's good enough. But we should strive to maintain
Political diplomacy.
neutrality. Yeah, complete neutrality. Because you look at our geographical situation, right? We're like right smack in the middle of like the main shipping and
That's
oil
true.
routes
That's
in the
true.
world.
Yeah, the Malacca Strait and everything. Yeah.
Right. And if shit hits the fan, like that is the waterway that's going to be most up in conflict, you would say, you know, and that would not be good for us. So it would serve us best, I think, to be a neutral party. Like we are good at, like as Anwar has shown, we are very good at being mediators, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so we should maintain that.
Okay, speaking about neutral countries, so earlier you mentioned Switzerland is one of those countries. I have a question for you before we get into the next part. Do you think Qatar is a neutral country?
A lot of people say no because of how Qatar also helps fund Hamas, right?
Okay. Some would say
they
that.
also have dealings with Israel,
Okay. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Trade-wise.
Yeah.
You see, neutral countries, to finish that thought, because they do that, to me, they are the epitome of a neutral country. Do you know how much Nazi gold is still within the Swiss banking system?
I don't.
Billions. Some even speculate up to trillions by now the gold is worth. Because
but the Germany cannot take back the gold. Right?
no,
Correct?
because
Or
it's,
did they just store it there?
no, it's the people that stored it there. So it has to be the same person or someone who was given the exact key who can withdraw whatever you want from the Swiss bank account. Because Swiss bank accounts have this very, very complicated system where you are assigned a key. That key is assigned a serial number. You are not given, like, you don't give your name out when you apply for this when you get this bank key
Right.
or bank account. You're only given out a 10-digit serial number that corresponds to you.
Yeah.
So
right now, who can withdraw that money?
no one is there. It's lost in that banking system. My point in saying that is that during the war,
It's a
the
place.
Swiss took money from the Nazis, even though they were evil. Why? Because they were neutral. Because the Swiss were neutral. So it wasn't about I'm helping good, I'm helping evil. No, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm middleman.
Yes. Okay. So a lot of people would say that, because Qatar is sort of helping both Israel and Hamas. But like you said, that's the definition of being neutral.
Yeah.
So the reason why I ask you that is because just a few days ago, or maybe even last week, I'm sure you know where I'm going with this.
Okay. Keep going.
Israel just bombed
Yemen.
So they just bombed Yemen. Basically, they said they were trying to.
I think they wiped out the Houthi cabinet or something like
Yeah,
that. Right?
they wiped out the Houthi cabinet, and recently, a few days ago, they just bombed Qatar.
This one Qatar?
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. So that's crazy. You know what I mean? So like, I would argue right now, Israel is the current Nazi state.
oh, that is without a doubt.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I understand because countries want to be neutral. They do businesses with Israel and stuff. But Qatar, a country that has been trying to mediate the peace in the Middle East, especially between Israel and Hamas, because of international law, you cannot just drop missiles or bombs there, not just in Qatar, but also in Yemen. You know what I mean? But Israel is just like pretty much
You know why?
whatever the fuck they
You know
want
why?
to do. Why?
because this little thing called terrorism is what muddies the waters.
Okay.
See, terrorism is what was created, the war on terror, right? The GWAT, the global war on terror. That was the thing that Dick Cheney and Paul Wolfowitz, this is something they all created. Even actually, no, it goes back before that. Like, this is like Reagan, Kissinger times, where it was to fight a war against a concept rather than a man.
Yeah.
You know, rather than an actual enemy that you could actually defeat. Because if you defeat the enemy, then there's no more cause for the war to go on. But if you fight something like an idea, like the idea of terrorism, can never stop.
That's what Netanyahu is doing. Has been doing. Has been doing all this time.
My contention is a bit more layered than that.
Okay.
My contention is that is something that these people, these warmongers in the Middle East, this is what they themselves have concocted in order to keep their military industrial complex going.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's given them an avenue, license to fight any war they want, wherever they want in the Middle East.
Under the name of fighting against terrorism.
Yes, because you can never defeat terrorism. Just like you can never defeat the war on drugs. You can wipe out every single cartel, but the war on drugs still go on.
Yeah.
You know? So it's the same thing.
You know, when you say terrorism, if you look up the definition of terrorism, it's basically you create terror for the people
for political gain.
For political gains, right? Here's my take on it. I would argue that countries should be labeled as terrorists depending on their foreign policies or what they have done to other countries. For example, I would say that Israel is a terroristic country. I would even say the US is a terroristic country. I'm not sure how much of this will be aired, but that's my opinion, because the US under multiple presidents, Obama, Biden, Trump, Bush, they have dropped millions of bombs and missiles in different countries under the name of fighting against terrorism. But at which point sorry, let me just rephrase that. At what point should they be considered terrorists? Because during Bush's time, or even during Obama's time, they killed over 1 million Iraqis.
Okay.
Like, so many of them civilians. In Yemen, in Syria, so many people have been killed through bombs. Even right now, what's going on in Gaza, in Ukraine and Russia. So the US has been a major player in each of these instances that I've mentioned. So at which point are they going to be considered terrorists, basically?
That's a good question, dude. That's a good question. I don't know. When it comes to the whole Iraq Afghanistan thing, like, yeah, a lot. I don't know. Iraq was especially because it was fraudulent. You know, like, going into it was fraudulent. Afghanistan, like the hunt for Osama bin Laden and all that. I mean, there have been reports that said they could have gotten Osama bin Laden 10 years earlier than they did. You know, things like that. Maybe not. I don't know. But getting to him and ending him was an important step in blunting Al-Qaeda.
Right.
You know? And Al-Qaeda is no longer what it used to be because of that. So
I think,
does everything that they did justify that end? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a war. I've never been to war. I'm not a wartime soldier. I don't know to say what that's like. But I know, man. It's a complicated thing.
It's a complicated thing. I think this topic can be talked about in a different episode. We can explore this in depth.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we only have one more news to cover.
Yeah.
And it's probably more on the lighthearted side. So in Thailand, they recently found that in a temple in Thailand, they found that 1/3 of the monks were actually high on meth. Yeah, exactly.
Were they disrobe?
I don't know, but you could say that's methed up. No, but it's because these people are monks, right?
Yeah.
And I understand that you are trying to reach the state of enlightenment. You're trying to go to nirvana. But I don't know. Doing meth is the right thing for you.
I
to
think they
reach
were
the
listening to too much Nirvana. They understand some of the Kurt Cobain sauce. I know, man. Like, humans are humans.
Yeah. It's wild. It's a wild story.
If it's anything to go by, like, you look at it, right? Anybody, all these religious leaders, right? Whether it be Catholics, Muslims even, and then now
Buddhists,
these monks, like, they all got some vices, yo.
Yeah,
so, like,
for sure.
It is what it is. Humans are humans. They gonna be how they gonna be.
I wonder who were the people that went to the temple and then they were like, I think these monks are high on meth. And then they eventually did.
Would you be able to tell though? Do you think?
I don't know.
I don't know. I've never been around anyone that smoked meth like that. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, like, you would never expect a monk would be doing meth, right?
I mean, if it keeps him zen.
Yeah. I think that's what they were trying to achieve. They were trying to be zen. They were trying to reach the state of enlightenment.
Right.
Trying to reach nirvana, and they think that meth is the way to do it, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. Thank you for staying and watching with us about the stuff that happened over the news over the last few weeks. We would just like to remind you guys that we are a facetious podcast, so don't take us that seriously. Obviously, do your own research about it. But before we go, Jay, do you want to say anything to our audience?
Well, basically, like, comment, subscribe, and if don't take us too seriously. All around the world is bad.
Yeah.
But there's also some good in it.
Yeah.
Embrace the good.
Keep educated.
Live your life. Yeah. And don't let the government step on your head.
And on that note, I guess, bye.
Let's go.